Have you ever felt like your fingers were turning into tiny ice sculptures? Imagine holding a snowball for too long, but without the fun of a snowball fight. That's what it feels like when Raynaud's syndrome decides to make an appearance. Or your toes were about to shatter like glass? Picture walking barefoot on a frozen lake, each step sending chills up your spine. That's the reality for those of us with Raynauds. No, I'm not auditioning for a horror movie. Although, with the way my extremities change colors, I could probably land a role as a frostbitten character. I'm describing my quirky companion, Raynaud's syndrome. It's a condition that makes my blood vessels overreact to cold or stress, causing my fingers and toes to turn white, blue, and then red as blood flow returns. It's a condition that turns my extremities into mini ice boxes at the slightest provocation. Even a slight breeze or a dip in temperature can trigger an episode. Cold weather? Cue the white, numb fingers. It's like my body has its own dramatic flair, putting on a show every time the temperature drops. Stressful meeting? My toes join the frozen party. It's as if my body is trying to distract me from the stress by giving me something else to worry about. It's like having a built-in thermometer that's permanently stuck on Arctic blast. My fingers and toes become the ultimate weather reporters, signaling the slightest change in temperature. But fear not, dear reader, this isn't a tale of icy doom and gloom. Despite the challenges, there's a silver lining to living with Raynauds. It's about understanding this peculiar syndrome, learning to live with its eccentricities, and even finding humor in its chilly antics. After all, laughter is the best way to warm up those cold fingers and toes. So join me as we embark on this journey to demystify Raynauds, one frosty finger at a time. Together, we'll explore tips and tricks to manage the symptoms, share stories of our icy adventures, and build a community of warmth and support. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty of what makes Raynauds tick. This condition, named after the French doctor Maurice Raynaud, who first described it in 1862, is more than just a reaction to cold. It's a complex interplay of your body's vascular system and nervous responses. Imagine your blood vessels playing a game of red light, green light. They stop and go, responding to signals from your nervous system. When exposed to cold or stress, these tiny highways overreact, slamming on the brakes and constricting blood flow to your fingers, toes, and sometimes even your nose and ears. This overreaction is due to an exaggerated response of the sympathetic nervous system, which controls the narrowing of blood vessels. This dramatic shutdown causes them to turn white, then blue, as oxygen levels plummet. The lack of oxygen can make the affected areas feel numb and cold, and the skin may even appear waxy. As blood flow slowly returns, they may throb, tingle, or turn bright red. This rewarming phase can be quite painful, as the blood vessels dilate and blood rushes back into the tissues. Think of it as a temporary traffic jam in your blood vessels, causing a colorful light show in your extremities. This phenomenon is not just a visual spectacle, but a reminder of the delicate balance our bodies maintain to regulate temperature and blood flow. Understanding Raynauds is crucial for those who experience it, as it can significantly impact daily life. Consulting with a healthcare provider can help manage symptoms and improve quality of life. Now, how do you know if you're part of the Raynauds Club? Well, it's not exactly an exclusive membership, but there are some telltale signs. Do your fingers or toes change color in the cold? White, blue, or even a lovely shade of purple? Do they go numb or tingly like they've fallen asleep? Maybe they throb when they warm up. If you answered yes to any of these, you might want to have a chat with your doctor. They'll be able to determine if it's just your body's quirky response to cold or something more. My first encounter with a doctor about my icy appendages was interesting. Picture this. A young, enthusiastic doctor fresh out of med school staring intently at my hand like it was an alien artifact. "So, it does this often?" he asked, his eyes wide with a mixture of curiosity and bewilderment. After a battery of questions and some tests, he uttered the words that would change my life. "It seems you have Raynaud's syndrome." It wasn't exactly the diagnosis I was hoping for, but it was a relief to finally have a name for my chilly predicament. Once you've received a Raynaud's diagnosis, it's time to assemble your A-team of specialists. Think of it as forming a superhero squad to combat those icy spells. First up, your primary care physician, the team captain, provides overall guidance. Then, a rheumatologist, the blood vessel virtuoso, steps in to rule out any underlying conditions and manage your symptoms. And let's not forget the unsung heroes. warm glove providers, stress management gurus, and perhaps even a therapist to help you navigate the emotional roller coaster that can come with chronic conditions. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. Food, glorious food. It's one of life's greatest pleasures, isn't it? The warmth of a hearty meal can be incredibly comforting, especially for those of us dealing with Raynauds. But it can also be a source of chaos. For us Raynauds folks, the wrong food or drink can trigger an episode, turning a moment of joy into one of discomfort. Let's start with the avoid list, shall we? Knowing what to steer clear of can make a world of difference. Coffee, the beloved morning elixir, can be a trigger for some. Yes, that aromatic cup of joe that kickstarts your day might not be your best friend. Imagine this. You're enjoying a steaming cup of joe, feeling all warm and fuzzy inside, when suddenly, bam! Your fingers decide to stage a mini ice age. It's like your body has its own weather system, and it's not always sunny. And then there's alcohol. While that glass of wine might seem tempting, especially on a cold day, it can actually worsen your symptoms. Alcohol can dilate your blood vessels, leading to more heat loss from your body. It's like playing Russian roulette with your circulation. One moment you're fine, the next, your fingers and toes are icy cold. So, maybe stick to herbal tea and hot chocolate instead. These warm beverages can provide comfort without the risk of triggering an episode. Your fingers and toes will thank you for it. Embracing the right foods and drinks can make a significant difference in managing Raynauds. So, choose wisely and enjoy the warmth. Exercise is crucial for overall health, but for those of us with Raynauds, it's like walking a tightrope. We want to get our blood pumping, but not so much that it triggers an episode. So what's a Raynauds warrior to do? Gentle exercises like yoga, tai chi, and walking are your best bets. These activities improve circulation without putting too much stress on your body. And remember, layering is key. Even indoors, keep those extremities bundled up to avoid any surprises. Now, for the fun part, foods that are like warm hugs for your circulation. Fatty fish like salmon and tuna are packed with omega-3 fatty acids, which are like WD-40 for your blood vessels, helping them stay nice and slippery. And let's not forget about ginger. This spicy root is known for its warming properties and can help improve blood flow. So, add a generous sprinkle of ginger to your meals or brew yourself a soothing cup of ginger tea. Your body will thank you for it. Living with Raynauds is like having a mischievous sprite controlling your blood vessels. It can be frustrating, unpredictable, and sometimes downright embarrassing. But it doesn't have to rule your life. By understanding your triggers, adopting healthy habits, and seeking support from your healthcare team, you can manage your symptoms and live a full and active life. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. There's a whole community of fellow Raynauds warriors out there, sharing tips, tricks, and maybe even a few frozen finger jokes along the way. Any tips you have to add for our Raynauds community are welcome. Until then, embrace the chills, laugh at the absurdity, and keep those extremities warm.